Hi. Hello, gamers! Today I'm going to be ranking every single course in Mario Kart 8 along with the new courses added in the Booster Course Pass, which I fucking hate that name, to be quite honest. Now, this is interesting because the Nintendo Switch actually has a pretty decent track record when it comes to first-party DLC. Like, Breath of the Wild has the Master Trials and the Champions Ballad, both of which add meaningful story content and a lot of really fun features like, I don't know, the Tribal Medallion or the improved Master Sword, as well as story beats, right? That's really fun. And then Splatoon 2 has the Octo expansion, which adds much needed story context, as well as like the true Splatoon 2 single player experience, right? But if you asked me whether I thought this Booster Course Pass was going to stack up to either of those two, well, I'd say no. In general, I also think that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, while it is the largest Mario Kart game in the entire franchise, it's also the most stale. Like, it's the most safe in comparison to something like a Mario Kart Wii or a Mario Kart Double Dash, even a 64, in my opinion. So there is that. Now, I would also like to mention that this is coming from someone with no competitive experience and no speedrunning experience either, as well as the fact that I care more about the way that the tracks feel racing wise than I do about the graphics, because there are problems with that I will bring up. I should also mention that I did play this game on the Wii U with the DLC as well, so I'm also a bit jaded and tired. just telling you now. Either way, let's get into it. First off, starting with the Mushroom Cup, we have Mario Kart Stadium, and to be quite honest, this track is like almost offensively standard. There's really nothing too exceptional about it. The only thing that really interests me about this track is the very last portion where you can go off the ramp into the flying segment, and if you turn on motion controls and you have 3 mushrooms, you just hit the hardest turn I've ever seen in my life. As I edit this, I've come to learn that this technique is actually called motion glider, and it actually applies to many other ramps in the game. It's still notable that it can be applied here. Just keep that in mind. Here's a great video summarizing the details of the techniques if you're interested. That's pretty sick. But other than that, it's fine. It's a track. What do you want? So that is going into C tier. Next up, we have Water Park. This one is significantly better. It gets the job done right. It is a very good introduction to water physics and zero gravity physics. Like, I like the loop-the-loop that has the zero gravity boosters. Not only that, but I feel like it's a pretty good example of water physics not being horrible in video games. It's just a pleasant time. It does leave you wanting for more. Like, there's not much meaningful track variation, but it's like, it's a beginner course. What do you want? It's fine. So that is going into the B tier. Sweet Sea Canyon, in my opinion, it's really not that much better or worse than Water Park. It doesn't really have any meaningful track variation, to me at least. You can go on either like the green path or the pink path, and there is that one shortcut before the end of the lap where you can go through the donut, and that's kind of fun, but like past that, it's okay. I do like the segment where you come out of the cannon and then drift down the mountain cake. That's really cool. But other than that, it's an okay track. I'll place it in B tier. And now, Twomp Ruins. God, I fucking love Twomp Ruins. That is easily an S to me. It is aesthetically pleasing. It's not going to be too relevant during this tier list, but it is very, very pretty to look at. There is meaningful track variation. Like, you can go either through the normal drifting path after the beginning of the track, or you can go into the walls, and there's the underwater segment and the walls that you can use for zero gravity, as well as swerving past the thwomps and using the shortcut at the very end of it. Not only that, when you're on your second lap, if you use a mushroom, you can cut through that large drifting segment. It's just a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a very well put together track, and I think it's one of the best examples of what Mario Kart 8 feels like or should feel like. Sweet Sweet Canyon's fun and relies on hitting ice cream cones and going down the cake. Yeah, I cannot argue with that. So in general, the Mushroom Cup was, it's fine. You know, it's a decent starter cup. Not much else to say about that. Next up, moving on to the Flower Cup, we have Mario Circuit. And Mario Circuit is interesting because I would say it's a very skill-dependent course. Depending on how good you are at drifting and controlling either narrowing or widening your drift, as well as your kart combination and your ability to think on the fly, you're gonna either like this course a bit more or a bit less. It's nothing groundbreaking, but like, I don't really have any problems with it other than the fact that there's really no track variation. You either drift a little farther out or a little farther in, and that's about it. Nothing too special, but nothing too bad either. That is getting a B. Toad Harbor, easily one of the best courses in the base game, like period. It was fun when Mario Kart 8 came out on Wii, and it's fun now. There's meaningful track variation with going through the shortcut either on the boat or through, what would you call that, a bridge? I don't fucking know. You can go up onto the tents, or you can go through the bottom of them. There's also that winding segment where if you take the right path, it's way faster. The zero gravity segment is there. It doesn't really add much in my opinion, but going downhill at the end of the course is super, super, super fun. You can either cut through the grass, go through the main course, or take a hard left and go through the booster segment. And I just think it's a really, really solid course. No major complaints at all. Just fucking awesome. One of my favorite courses in the series, really. S tier. Twisted Mansion. Twisted Mansion is really fucking boring. I do not like Twisted Mansion all that much. There's no meaningful track variation. There's a few shortcuts, but like they feel uninspired to me. Like you can cut through the bookshelves after the beginning segment, and then towards the end where the knights slam down their halberds, you can cut through the grass to the right to get a good time save. But past that, it's just, it leaves you wanting more, man. There's not really much interesting about it. Not to mention there are other ghost theme maps in the series that are just way better, like the I don't remember the name of it, but the ghost track on the DS version of Mario Kart, that was way better. So yeah, unfortunately this is gonna get a C. I kind of want to give it a D, to be quite honest, but I can't be, it's not that bad. Moving on to Shy Guy Falls. Shy Guy Falls aesthetically is one of my favorite courses in the entire game. I really like how at the very start of the race, you can see the later portion of the race with the waterfall by looking up and to the right. That's really neat. But in terms of actual like map variation or challenge, it's not that interesting. There is the portion at the ending segment where you paraglide and you can either go through the upper portion of the map or the lower path. And then there's the cliff face where you can drift around or then go through the ramp. But that's about it, really. I would say it's very fun. It can get very hectic. It's very item-centric. But past that, it's a good course, but it's not incredible. And because of that, I'm going to be giving it a B. I'm definitely going to be placing it above Sweet Sweet Canyon, though. I should have mentioned, I am going to be going through and sort of ranking these in their own tiers as well. Like, I would put Toad Harbor above Twomp Ruins, like very easily, and then Twisted Mansion is definitely worse. In terms of how good the Flower Cup is, it's pretty good, fairly solid, kind of carried by Toad Harbor. Other than that, it's just fine, you know. But for like the second cup in the entire game, what do you want? The Star Cup starts out with Sunshine Airport. Sunshine Airport is one scrappy ass map. Like you get hit by items a lot on this map. And it's very narrow, especially when like you're weaving through the airplane wheels. Very good for fighting. If you want to like knock someone's teeth out on Sunshine Airport, you definitely could. But in terms of map variation, it's fine. There's like nothing really too interesting. There's the portion of the map where take a drift left and there's the airplane sitting on the tarmac. You can either go on the airplane or under it, or you could cut through the grass if you have a mushroom. And then there's this one fucking little, the worst shortcut I think in the entire fucking game. There's a segment where you either take a drift right to go up onto the ramp to the flying portion, but if you look to the left of that, there's this small little corner cut that goes over the water with a small green ramp, and it is the worst feeling shortcut in the entire goddamn game. It fills me with so much unbridled rage. I fucking hate it. But that's not the entire course. Just bad memory. Past that, it's fine. I don't really have much else to say about it. I don't think there's any really negative parts about it. It's a fun map. I think I've also had like a lot more close calls on this map than any other. The amount of times where I've just skirted past the player ahead of me to get to first, or I've had first taken away from me, that kind of feeling is fun. So because of that, I'm going to be giving Sunshine Airport an A. Very solid track, very good start to the Star Cup. Now, Dolphin Shoals. Dolphin Shoals is interesting because one, it's another example of the water levels in a game not needing to be fucking garbage, right? But also, it has the lick. So like, I have to be kind to it. If you don't know what the lick is, it's this music meme that you should definitely learn about. Aesthetically, it fucks. Musically, it also fucks. In terms of track variation, there is meaningful track variation. Before the giant eel, There's like so many different winding paths and they're all pretty meaningful. And then even if you fall off the eel, there's this segment under it that can be used to like save your bacon. Plus, when you're drifting before the paraglider segment, that's pretty fun. And towards the very end, that cut that you can take with the mushroom is super, super, super fun. I've stolen so many races off of that. I fucking love the track. I would not feel comfortable giving it anything less than an A, and I will even put it above Sunshine Airport. It is a fucking great map. Just amazing map. Electrodrome. I will be completely honest, this map is boring as hell. I don't like it at all. I can't say it's terrible. In general, it just doesn't really do anything interesting other than being aesthetically cool. As well, I don't like the music. I don't like the track, to be honest. It should have been more of a bump, you know? It should have had more kick to it. But it just feels like very generic electronic music. I would not feel comfortable giving it anything more than a C. And I'm going to place it at the bottom, even below Twisted Mansion. Mount Wario. I really don't even have to explain to people how good Mount Wario is. This is the first instance of a track where instead of going around the track multiple times, you just go through it once. It is such a good introduction to that kind of track because there's this great sense of speed. There's so many like different little shortcuts that you can take that make it really satisfying to learn. Not only that, it gets really, really hectic. It's super item friendly. The last segment where you're going downhill with the boosters and the gliders, and there's item boxes galore. It's just fun. It's just a really fun map. I feel like it's a cult classic. There's a lot of people that I know really, really love this map. I would not feel comfortable giving it anything lower than S. Fucking awesome map. Now, where would I put it in terms? It's definitely above Twomp Ruins. I really, really like Toad Harbor. Controversial. I'm going to place it below Toad Harbor. I'm a weirdo though. So Star Cup was pretty carried by Mount Wario and Dolphin Shoals. For a third cup, it's pretty darn good. And there's definitely been a sort of increase in fun value, if you will. Like you start out with the Mushroom Cup and it's all right, and then the Flower Cup happens, and then the Star Cup, and it's just getting better in quality as that sort of goes on. Moving on to the Special Cup, Cloudtop Cruise. I don't like this map. I really, really don't like this map. It's not bad, but it's not great in any meaningful way to me. I don't know, man. You start off the map, you go through a couple drifts, and there's a cloud that you can take on the left as a shortcut, or you can drift to the right. Then you go through like this upper deck portion of a ship, through a cannon, onto the clouds, and then that lightning segment where you're going, where you're dodging lightning, but also using boost pads. That's really fun. But then you get to the ending segment where you go back onto the beanstalk, and then you can either take the drifting portion on the left, or you can go through this stupid goddamn shortcut with the two leaves on the right. I've been cucked there so many goddamn times. I do not like it. I don't like shortcuts at the end of tracks like that in general, to be quite honest. It leaves me wanting more. I'm going to be placing it in C tier, but it's definitely better than like all of these other C tier maps. I will give it that at the very least. Moving on, Dry Dunes. I know a lot of people really don't like this map. I don't get it. In terms of alternate paths, there are really nice ones, especially towards the end of the map. But in the middle of the map, specifically when you're going through the skeletal remains and dodging those piranha plants, you can either go left or you can go right. I always go right through the zero gravity segment with the boosters. And then you can either go on top in the cave, or you can go on the bottom path. I mean, there is a mushroom cut towards the end of it, but I feel like it's in a position where it's like, it doesn't give you that much of an advantage over just doing the track normally. I think it's a very well put together track. No wow factor really, but it's fun. It's fun. I will put it in A tier above Sunshine Airport. Bowser's Castle next. I feel like this track could have been way more interesting. Don't get me wrong, aesthetically it's really, really cool. It sort of takes that edgy, angry, large metal fire aesthetic of Bowser castles that we're so used to in Mario games. It sort of amplifies that to a really cool degree, but in terms of how it feels to drive in, it's fine. Like there is that segment where the Bowser statue is standing in between the two paths and punching the paths. That's neat, but I don't know. I just feel like it needs more well-defined ideas. It's just very basic. It's not bad by any means. I do like the track, so I'm going to give it, let's see, a B. I'll probably place it above all these other tracks, yeah, but I feel like I could have been a lot better. Next up, major disappointment in my opinion. This is probably the worst Rainbow Road I have ever played in the franchise. And that makes me very sad because aesthetically it's dope as hell. You're racing on like this satellite on a space station. That's so cool. And you can see the planet below you. And the actual track, the way it's lit up, I think it's beautiful. But in terms of how it feels to drive, it leaves a lot to be desired. There's not no danger, but like past falling off of the track, there's not much. And even then, you can't really fall off the track that often, except for like in the beginning segment. I also feel like it's very slow. This is the slowest feeling Rainbow Road I think I've ever played. And I also feel like this is just a neutered version of the Rainbow Road from the 3DS version. That one is absolutely stellar, and I really would have preferred that one over this one. It's not why I'm gonna give it the ranking that I'm gonna give it, but it could have been a lot better. I don't really think that fondly of it. I'll play it and I won't complain about it if I get it, but there's so many better tracks, dude. I'm going to be giving it a C. It doesn't go below Mario Kart Stadium though. Now, Moo Moo Meadows. I don't even really have to explain this one. This one's a fucking S. I'll figure out where specifically later, but yeah, very simple map, but like very, very good. There's not a lot of track variation per se, but it's wide enough that you get that sort of intrigue, for lack of a better word, in how you approach dodging other players, especially through the cow segment and the segment after that. I just feel like it's just a staple track. It's just so much fun to play with other people. It's very scrappy. I need to stop. I need to figure out another word. It's very chaotic. And then the ending segment with the moles and the ramps is also very fun. I just think it's like, it has a good mixture of being able to win if you're skilled and being able to win if you're lucky. It's just a great course. Now, is it above Twomp Ruins? You know what I'm going to say it is. I'm not going to place it above Mount Warrior though. Absolutely amazing course. I should have said this earlier. Special Cup, disappointing. Could have been significantly better. I just was left wanting more. Silly me. Anyway, Mario Circuit. This is a very fun course, which is interesting because you look at it and you're like, wow, they literally just added this U-shaped like anti-gravity segment. That's it. But I don't know. The shenanigans that you can get up to on this track are like pretty hilarious. It's very fun to sandbag on this track. Mind you, this is from the perspective of a player who doesn't really do super advanced stuff. But like, if you hold back a bit on this track to get items, a lot of chaos can ensue. It's really fun. I feel like it's the kind of track where you really want to make sure you're on the correct line, and that itself can sort of create friction between you and the players in a fun way. There's very little in the way of alternate paths, but that's fine because of how like tight of a track it is. I like it a lot. I'm going to give it an A tier, above Bone Dry Dunes, but below Dolphin Shoals. Next up, we have Cheep Beach. This track is really fun. I absolutely adored Cheep Beach on Mario Kart DS. I thought it was a great track, and I feel it's transferred over very well to 8. It's beautiful for one. I feel like it's fun to sort of navigate the ramps and the water. The crabs are hilarious. Crabs are the funniest animal, hands down. I have this thing with crabs. Anyway, the ending segment where you go through the jungle is very cool. I just think it's a solid map. I think it's a very, very solid map, and I would feel uncomfortable giving it anything other than an A. I am even going to place it above Bone Dry Dunes. Hell, I'll place it even above Mario Circuit. You will notice I really, really like water-based stuff in this game for some reason. I don't know why. Finally, for the Shell Cup, Toad's Turnpike. D. This map is boring. I see what they were going for, but past that one really long drifting segment at the very beginning, I don't like it at all. It's wide, but it's so wide that it feels like useless in my opinion. I feel like the cars are really easy to dodge, so it feels that much worse when you actually get hit by them. I do not like this track. It's long in the tooth. It doesn't really do anything that interesting. There's that one paragliding segment if you take the truck, but like it's way slower. You shouldn't really do it. Not very inspiring. Aside from that, the Shell Cup was actually pretty dang dope. An S tier and 2 A tiers, really just let down by that D with Toad's Turnpike. Next up, the Banana Cup. Starting out with Dry Desert. Yeah, that's another D. I don't like this map either. I think it is another map that is just too long, doesn't really have that much going for it. Like, yeah, you can literally go left or right in a lot of segments, like with the sinkhole, but it doesn't really matter. That water segment with the geysers, there's that cut that you can do with mushrooms that it's like way too advantageous in my opinion. It feels super bad to like be in first by a decent margin and then get absolutely annihilated by like 3 people just because they have items that allow them to go through that really fat dirt patch. I do not like this map like whatsoever. I'd give it a lower score, but like at least it's not offensive. It's just, it's bad. What can you do? Donut Plains. I fucking love Donut Plains. I love Donut Plains so fucking, oh my God. This is one of the best conversions that they've done like ever. There's a lot of little things that just make it so much fun. The bridge segments where you can either follow a bridge or go through the water. There's this segment where you make a hard left and you can either take the item boxes on the main path or just drift through the water and get like a pretty decent amount of speed to get past people. The only thing that I don't necessarily like is the ending segment with the Monty moles and the cut through the blocks. But other than that, it's just so much fun, man. It's just so much fun. I want to give it an S. Like it's a borderline S, but I can't. It's just that ending segment doesn't allow me to do it, but like easily an A. Really, really solid track. Moving on, Royal Raceway. Another just fantastic track. This is one of the most fun skill-based tracks to play online in my opinion. It's very focused on you taking the correct lines, but there is a lot of room for like item shenanigans in a really non-infuriating way. I feel like it is very basic. It's a very basic track, but it's done so well that it's just so much fun. And the ending bit past the glider section is very hectic and very fast and very fun. I just love it. I would not feel comfortable giving this anything less than an A. I'll personally place it below Donut Plains. Another borderline like S tier map though. And then the final map in the Banana Cup, DK Jungle. That's free. That's S. That's a free S. Oh my God. This is one of the most fun sort of wild maps in the game in my opinion. Very hectic. No, there's not really like that many branching paths or anything like that, but it's the kind of thing where it's very shoulder to shoulder. And I do think that it shows you enough different things that it is very fun. It's just a solid map. Very, very fun in multiplayer. Would I place it above Twomp Ruins? I think that's a pretty good spot for it. DK Jungle, S tier in my opinion. That leaves the Banana Cup as like very, very solid. 2 almost S tiers, an S tier and a D. What can you do about Dry Desert? Very fun. Moving on to the Leaf Cup. Wario Stadium. Honestly, in my opinion, a goddamn travesty. In Mario Kart DS, this is like one of the best tracks easily, but I just don't feel like it transferred very well to the Mario Kart 8 formula. It's like, it feels super neutered and it feels like the tricks that you can do really are more of a hassle than anything. The ending segment really isn't all that interesting with the grading and going through the water. I feel like it just needs more. It just needs more. The DS version was way better. I don't feel comfortable giving that anything more than a C. I will say it's more interesting than Rainbow Road, but not more than Cloudtop Cruise. Sherbert Land. This is a solid track. This is a very, very solid track. And initially I was kind of apprehensive because like it's an ice track, but I feel like it gives you enough room as an ice track to sort of deal with your business that it doesn't really ever get in the way. I like the path variance with being able to go under the lakes or on the actual ice sheets with the Shy Guys skating. That's really cute. The cave is very fun. And then I like the space between the item boxes as well. Plus the very ending segment where you can go through the shortcut on the left, or you can take the standard path on the right. That's very fun. Or if you can sneak through underwater and take the ramp at the very end, that's also really cool. I feel like that leads to a lot of interesting moments at the very end of the race. So I'm going to be giving that an A, and I think that is better than Mario Circuit personally. Music Park. I'm conflicted on Music Park. I think Music Park is very interesting in certain aspects and kind of boring in others. And this is a course where I feel like if you're really good at it, it's way more fun. But if you're just okay at it, it's really not that great. Like, if you're playing a character with good handling, you're playing a cart combination with good handling, there's a lot of really fun drifting segments, and the shortcut at the end is very interesting if you're good. I would feel bad not acknowledging the depth that is there for this course. I am going to give it an A. Yeah, I'm going to give it an A. and I will even place it above Sherbert Land. If you are not drifting, it's boring as hell, but if you're good at drifting and you really understand the track, it's super, super fun. Finally, for the Leaf Cup, we have Yoshi Valley, and I like Yoshi Valley. I think it's a fun track, but once you get past the branching segments towards the middle of the course, I feel like it's not really that fun. Like, you get to the giant egg, and then it goes downhill from there until you get to the next lap. Giant cut that you can take through the grass with a mushroom. I don't generally like that towards the end of a track, because it's just like, I have the lead, I'm doing well, and then someone 3 places behind me gets it just because they have a mushroom. Not my favorite. It's not bad. It's not bad in any way. And I do think that starting segment where you can either go on the bridge, the path to the left or the path to the right, that's brilliant. That's great. But past that, I just want more. I'm going to give it a B, but I'm going to say it's like better than everything else in B tier. I feel like that's fair. The Leaf Cup, it's fine. It's like, the tracks leave you wanting a bit more, but it's an okay cup. Can't really say more than that. Moving on to the Lightning Cup, though. Starts out with a tick-tock clock, and I like tick-tock clock a lot. I feel like it gets very hectic. I feel like it's a very fun track to use items on, because there are a lot of sharp turns and corners where you can really nail people with shells. There is also that paragliding segment through the gears that I think is really interesting. And then that ending segment specifically where you take the turn around the clock, that gets so close so often. It's so much fun. I really do think it's a very solid track. It's kind of missing some wow factor in terms of layout, but past that, it's great. I'm going to give this an A tier, and ooh, this is getting a little hard. It's definitely better than these and this. I'm comfortable putting it right there. Piranha Plant Slide. People might disagree with me on this one, but like, this is one of my favorite courses in the entire series. I love this track so goddamn much. Speeding through the water segments is freaking great, where you can either take the actual ground paths or use the water as a speed boost. The piranha plants are placed in ways where I feel like you really have to pay attention to them, or not pay too much attention to them, but you have to like acknowledge them. The vertical variation is nice. The part at the very end of the paragliding segment isn't really that much fun, because again, it has that sort of mushroom cut, but it's not that intense. I like it a lot. I really, really like it a lot. But I would definitely not put it anywhere above like Twomp Ruins. I'd say it's better than DK Jungle though, personally. Anyway, moving on, Grumble Volcano. This map is so goddamn chaotic, man. I really like that it gets more intense with like bits of the map crumbling off per lap, and then like meteors falling, not meteors falling down. What think we call meteors? Volcano fragments, whatever you want to call them, falling from the sky and fire spitting out of things, and like, oh my god. The cave segment gets super, super crazy. There's a very good mixture of actual skill and actual just panic. I think it's super fun, and I also think it's really fun on 200cc. That being said, I'm basing this entire list mostly off of the 150cc experience, because unfortunately, if you play online, you're probably playing 150cc because you can't just straight up choose, because Nintendo's amazing. And especially, I should have mentioned that shortcut at the end, the ramp that you can take just before you reach the end of the lap, it makes me fear. It makes me so scared in the best possible way. I think it's just very fun. So I'm going to be placing that in A tier, like fairly high, like above Dolphin Shoals personally. I think it's a great track. And then finally, the Lightning Cup ends with one of the best iterations of Rainbow Road in the entire series. I think, one, it's visually stunning. The N64 version of Mario Kart is kind of special to me, not because I played it a whole lot as a kid, but because it like represents an era of gaming that I really miss, where things were a lot simpler, but yet they had a lot more impact, you know? Thinking of things like Pokemon Stadium and like Super Smash Bros. On 64 and like Mario 64 and things like that. I feel like they did a fantastic job of capturing that wonder and transferring it into this course. It's very simple, right? It's a very simple track. There's not really any like track variation, but you do have to really pay attention because it is a track that is very, very item friendly. The ending segment where you're speeding through and then you go through the paraglider, that it just makes me want to sing, man. It's so good. I would feel bad giving it anything other than an S. I'm gonna place it like fairly high, to be quite honest, above Meadows, not above these two though. It is a delightful rendition of Rainbow Road. That leaves the Lightning Cup out of the original 8 as I think like the strongest cup, because you have to remember when Mario Kart 8 came out initially on the Wii U, there were only 8 cups, which isn't a lot, but like what can you do? And it just like is this beautiful send-off in my opinion. Really enjoy it. Then we're gonna get into the DLC courses for the Wii U version. I remember being pretty goddamn hyped when these came out for the Wii U. It was sort of an unprecedented thing at the time. It was a lot of content. 16 tracks now with the booster course pass doesn't seem like that much, but like back then it was meaningful. The fact that they added more stuff like Link and the Master Cycle and all that, that's great. I absolutely adore that. Starting off with the Egg Cup, Yoshi Circuit. I feel like this is one of the best examples of this map is just way better if you are more knowledgeable about the game. If you sandbag on this map becomes way more fun. If you go through the track normally, even if you know like the optimal path, it's all right in my opinion. But when you take that next step to like make sure you get the optimal items, it's significantly better. I don't like it all that much because of that, because I don't use like meta loadouts and I don't sandbag all that often, but I have to acknowledge that that skill factor is there, and I'll give it a B. It's like easily the best B, but like it's a B to me. Next up, Exciteback Arena. Underwhelming. It's like, it's the kind of track that's pretty fun to play in like a call on Discord, because you really can't pull that far ahead. But past that, like playing it repeatedly, I'm really not interested in it. I don't know. It has ramps. That's about it. It has ramps. You take 2 right turns and then that's it. If the item boxes were any closer, it would be a fucking nightmare. It's like better Baby Park, but it's still not great. I'm left wanting more playing it. So because of that, I'm going to give it a B. It's a very scrappy course, but it's not that great. Dragon Driftway. This course is very interesting. Maybe I take that back. Maybe I take that back. This is yet another sort of course where if you're cracked as hell, it's way more fun because the shortcuts that you can take are way more interesting. But past that, it's very just, you don't put much thought into the actual like turns you're gonna take or anything like that. It's fine. Aesthetically, it's really cool. I'm like trying to think of more things to say, but I can't. It's just more fun if you're better. That's about it. So it's another situation like Yoshi Circuit. But like even then, I don't even think sandbagging helps you that much on this track. Whatever. It's like, it's below Bowser's Castle in my opinion. But it's fine because next we have Mute City, and goddamn, this is an example of the DLC coming fucking clutch, dude. Oh my god, Mute City is you know I'm gonna put it in this. Everyone knows I'm gonna put it in this. I'll figure out exactly where it is. You know how I said like Exciteback Arena is one of the most fun courses to play in a Discord call because it gets so hectic, or at least for like a period of time. You don't want to do it like multiple times, but once or twice in a night, that's very fun. Mute City is that on a crack. It's so shoulder to shoulder. It's very item friendly. There's a really cool shortcut that you can take. The sense of speed really there. The zero gravity segments are really cool. And that last ending segment that you take, where you can either take the item boxes and go down the normal path, or if you have a mushroom, or if you're onto a CC and you know how to drift, you can just go straight through the right path. That's just great. It is a shining example of what a course should be in Mario Kart 8. And I would go so far as to place it, it's definitely above Mount Wario. No, it's definitely above Toad Harbor. It's easily one of the best courses in the entire game. It's just freaking great. So yeah, the Egg Cup, very skillful. The Egg Cup is very skill dependent in my opinion. But like the better you are at the actual game, the more fun you'll get out of it. Fantastic. Next up, we have the Crossing Cup. And I would place Baby Park in S tier, but you see, I did not take cocaine today. So this is going all the way down here. Actually, can I add a row below? Yeah, let's do that. Sin against God. Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of people that really like Baby Park out there. I don't trust any of you. Joking aside, I really don't have fun on Baby Park. It's 7 laps. I feel like if it was 5, I would be significantly less just hateful towards it, right? But it's 7 laps of just going right. There's a lot of bumping into other people and you get absolutely nailed, and then you get ahead and you get nailed again, and like it's fun the first time and it's pretty okay the second time, and then it's absolute hell past that. I don't like Baby Park. I am very serious when I say it is my least favorite track in the entire game, even compared to tracks that are just boring. I don't like Baby Park. Anyway, next up, Cheese Land. I'll be very clear with this. Boring. It's just boring. It's a desert made of cheese. That's pretty neat. That's a cool concept, but like past that, there's not much. The ending segment where you can boost through and take flight with a mushroom once or twice, that's neat. There's nothing. There's really nothing. I do like the first drift that you can take with the mushroom. I mean, the first cut that you can take with the mushroom through the cheese block. That's fun. Past that, there's nothing. It's just boring. It's just a boring track. I can't really say much else. It's made of cheese. How dare you? Look, I know it hurts to be hateful towards something that is so beautiful, but truly, the cheese does not help Cheese Land. It's a boring ass track. Next up though, Wild Woods. Wild Woods comes in clutch because this cup was hurting. It's a solid ass track. I like that they put so much emphasis on which path to take immediately, because on the left path after the start, there's 3 coins that you can take initially to increase your speed off the bat, or you could take the right path to be faster out right. And I like that it's just there initially. Plus the gliding segment going into the water slide is super fun, and skipping along those leaves and then having that ramp at the end. It's a very engaging track. Not only that, it's beautiful. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. It is very easily an A, like without question an A. Where exactly an A? It's definitely above all of these courses. Yeah, I'm gonna place it above Rojo Raceway. I like Donut Plains more though, personally. Solid track. And then at the end of the Crossing Cup, we have Animal Crossing. And I just think this is a very, how to explain it? I know this doesn't make sense because Mario Kart is a multiplayer game, but this is a very multiplayer map. Like, it's item friendly, so you can ruin people's lives. It looks great. It's very fun. The paths don't diverge very much, but they're meaningfully wide, so you can be very careful about how you navigate around other players. And then when you get to the beach portion, I like how much time you can shave off by using mushrooms there. And the ending portion after that, after you get the items, it feels like another buzzer beater situation, like I mentioned before, where it gets very close and very tense. I enjoy that. It's a very fun track, and the fact that you get 4 versions of it, that's super great. Easily an A, like easy A. Not Royal Raceway, but Grumble Volcano. I feel like that's very fair. So yeah, the Crossing Cup, it starts off as like the Antichrist, and then it really shapes up towards the end. Because again, Baby Park and Cheese Land in the same cup, not great. But Wild Woods and Animal Crossing, 2 great courses. Can't really complain about that. Moving on to the Triforce Cup, Wario's Gold Mine. Another solid ass track. Very fun in a chaotic way. The paths get narrow enough to where it gets a little scary, but never like crazy unmanageable. Cutting through the caves is very fun. The bats can get really annoying, but like if you're skillful enough, they won't give you too much trouble. And then the ending segment where you can either take the path where the minecarts go, or just go straight down with the boosters and then take that cut straight to the finish line. That gives me a lot of joy. I think this is a very fun track, and they did a pretty great job of porting it over from Wii. This is an A, like very easily. I'm going to put it here, above Royal Raceway. I feel like Royal Raceway is a pretty good benchmark. Rainbow Road SNES. This is yet another very intense, chaotic sort of map, exaggerated by the fact that there's no guardrails in the entire course, and they really encourage you to get off of the course with the ramps. I think it's very fast, pretty fun. You have to be very careful about how you manage your corners. And I like the segment towards the end where if you have a mushroom, you can bypass the thwomps. I think that's really cool. I like it so much that I wanted to give it an S, but I can't say it has that power to it. So it's definitely an A, but I would say it's above Grumble Volcano. Very fun track. This is taking a long time, by the way. So next up is Ice Outpost. This track is very boring if you do not take the shortcuts. If you know where the shortcuts are and you take them, it gets significantly more exciting, but it is let down by these very bland, long drifting segments that really don't amount to much. I feel like you can get pretty annihilated in terms of items just because of how, not straight, but simple the track is in a lot of segments. It's okay. Like, I don't like it all that much, to be quite honest. I would say it's definitely better than like the really basic courses at the beginning of the base game, but past that, not much else. So it's a B, just a B. And then finally, there is Hyrule Circuit. I feel like I don't like Hyrule Circuit as much as other people do. I'm not saying it's a bad course by any means. It's very, very well put together, but especially towards the start of the lap, it feels a little bland. Once you get to the castle and go through the hallway before where the Master Sword is displayed, it really, really picks up there. And that part is where it gets really fun. I'm not really going to hold that against it. And it is way better, like way better on 200cc. It's a fun track. It's very easily an A. And I would even place it above a lot of the 8 tracks. Like, yeah, even above Wario's Gold Mine. Solid ass track. Not much else to say about it. So yeah, the Triforce Cup is pretty dang good. Aside from Ice Outpost being a little bit of a letdown, it is just like A's all the way through. Moving on to the Bell Cup, Neo Bowser City. Neo Bowser City is interesting because it's a very, I almost want to say claustrophobic track. It gets very narrow in segments and things do get very closed in. And that can be very fun, but I feel like it gets a lot more frustrating than anything in this track, especially in the rain segments. It doesn't really have much going for it past that chaos factor. It's a B. I really can't think of anything more than a B. And even then, I wouldn't place it above Ice Outpost. Next up though, Ribbon Road. I think it like evokes aspects of Moo Moo Meadows in a lot of places, and that's like never not a good thing. It gets very hectic towards the middle of the track, and the shortcuts that you take towards the end are very fun. The only big letdown for me is that ending segment where you can take the boost through the arches. It just feels kind of uninspired. But past that, great track, easily an A tier, and I will place it, I want to place it above Wario's Gold Mine. Some people might find that to be sacrilege, but I think it's very fair. And the next after that is Super Bell Subway. I don't feel like I get to play on this map a lot, but it's so much fun to me. I don't know whether that's my subconscious or not, but it just feels very fast. Maybe it's because there's a lot of really wide drifting segments and you have to be very careful about how you navigate through the subway specifically. And there are cuts that you can make, especially towards the end of the track. It's interesting. Aesthetically, it's very cool. The only thing it's missing is that kind of wow factor to me. Like, it's good, but it's not amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A. It's like super, super solid. I will place it behind Ribbon Road. Fun track. And then finally, ending the Bell Cup. I don't even really have to explain it. Big Blue, baby. Big Blue, baby. Best course in the entire goddamn game up to this point. Free. It is one of the best courses in the sense of speed, especially if you're playing on 200cc. I enjoy how much it frees you from like having to collect coins to get to max speed. I feel like there's a lot of really cool shortcuts, especially during the water segment. It's very fun in multiplayer. It can get very hectic and close. It's kind of just Mount Wario, but like straight up better. Out of the original tracks that came out with Mario Kart Deluxe, which would be Mario Kart Wii with the DLC, it's by far the best in my opinion. So yeah, that leaves the Bell Cup as another pretty solid cup. I would still say in terms of placing everything in a group though, yeah, I would place the Lightning Cup over the Bell Cup. I just feel like it's more consistent, but obviously the Bell Cup has a higher peak because God, you cannot mess with Big Blue. That's the original tracks taken care of. And now we are moving to the 8 tracks that came out with the first portion of the Booster Course Pass. We start out in the Golden Dash Cup with Paris Promenade, and Paris Promenade, to get this out of the way very quickly, it's a great track. It's super, super good. Feels very fast. I like how it switches up on the 3rd lap. It's very simple, but very good. And that also means it lends itself very well to 200cc play. It doesn't really make you think too hard, but it's just something you can breeze through very easily and is very satisfying. I would place it above Grumble Volcano. I think that's fair. I would even place it above Rainbow Road. SNH Rainbow Road, to be honest. I think it's that good. Just a great track. Next up is Toad Circuit on the 3DS. And just like, what happened? What happened, man? It wasn't that bad on the 3DS. So what happened? It didn't transfer over at all. It's crazy short. It's crazy simple. Remember how I said that Mario Kart Stadium is almost offensively standard? Toad Circuit is offensively standard. It doesn't ask anything of you. You get to the third lap and you're like, oh, it's over. It needs more, and not just more, like a lot more. It is the most unremarkable track potentially in the entire series. D tier, bottom of D tier, very easily. A very big disappointment, which leads pretty well into Choco Mountain, one of the most beloved courses in the entire series on the N64. But when it transferred over to 8 Deluxe, I don't know what happened, but it lost a lot of that cool factor. It's the kind of thing where like the DNA is definitely there. The things that made Choco Mountain cool in the original, they're there in spades, but like it's way shorter. It's way shorter than the original. And it just feels neutered. I said I wasn't gonna be too negative on the graphics, but it just doesn't look that good either. It's definitely better than Toad Circuit. And I would even argue that it's better than a lot of the bad courses or boring courses in the Wii U base game. But it should have been so much more, man. It should have been so much more. I'm gonna give it like a low C. It's like better than Mario Kart Stadium, but like that's not remarkable in any way, shape, or form. Super, super worrying. And past that, the final track in the Golden Dash Cup is Coconut Mall. And it's not bad, but it should have been much better. A lot of the excitement that was associated with Coconut Mall really isn't there. Aesthetically, it's okay. It was definitely better than the Wii version, like without question. I'm gonna give it a B. It's like better than Ice Outpost, but not much else. Zassi, you bring up a very interesting point. The fact that they're not going to be adding any anti-gravity, it makes sense. This is a sort of greatest hits collection of all the old games, but come on. it's a little worrying. If you are not going to be having anti-gravity segments in these new tracks, then they have to be really solid, because anti-gravity is what separates Mario Kart 8 from the previous entries in the franchise, right? Going off of all the tracks in the Golden Dash Cup, except for Paris Promenade, you're really not inspiring much confidence. In fact, that's the rating that I'm going to give Golden Dash Cup. Worrying. Very, very worrying. And then moving on to the final cup so far, the Lucky Cat Cup, starting with Tokyo Blur. I will just do this fairly quickly. It's like even less remarkable than like Mario Kart Stadium. Even more so than Twisted Mansion. It's super short and there's not a lot of variation. That being said, it's way more fun on 200cc. It's the kind of track where like it's so simple that as long as you can just keep going fast, which is nice, but it feels less like you're racing through the streets of Tokyo and more so like you're getting home from work after your 9 to 5 on the Turnpike. It doesn't transfer. The name doesn't apply. Past that, Shroom Ridge. I like this track on the DS. I don't know what happened. It's really not bad, but it's not that great. Like, it's definitely more interesting than the least interesting portions of the base game and even the DLC, but like, I don't know. It's just basic. Aesthetically, it needs work. It brings to mind memories of Lego Island, and like not in a good way, because I love me some Lego Island.
Oops, you have to put the CD in your computer.
Even Lego Island would have been more detailed than this if they had the opportunity, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna give this like a low B. I can't insult these other tracks, man. It's at the bottom of B. Moving on, thankfully, to Sky Garden. It's great. It's super short, but it's super sweet. There's a great sense of speed. There's enough path variations where it doesn't feel super bland. There's not many shortcuts, but like, what do you want? It's just fun. And on 200cc, it's even better. It's a great, short, solid map. I have really no complaints about it. It's very easily an A. This is going to sound insane. I'm going to place it above Animal Crossing. It's not as nuanced as any of these other maps, but I feel like that works to its advantage. It's very simple in a very good way. Finally, the end of the first wave of the Booster Course Pass. Again, I hate that name. Ninja Hideaway. Now, when I first played this track with my friends, they were like, "Ah, man, I'm not really feeling this track." And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? This is the best fucking track, bar none, out of all of them free. It's so good. It's so goddamn good. It's so unique in terms of just this series in general. There's nothing else like it. It's fairly fast. There's a lot of really sharp turns, which makes it very exciting. There's a lot of different paths that you can take. There's a like the flying segment going to the top of the what would you call it? The castle. That's cool. And then the very end, it gets very hectic, and the drift that you have to make are very tight. It's just solid. It's just a crazy solid, great, fun, very snappy course. I love it. It's like shockingly an S. It is the best thing to come out of the first part of the booster course pass by far. In fact, I'm even going to place it above Moo Meadows. I like it so much. So yeah, that's how I rate all the courses so far. It's interesting because, again, I stand by my opinion that Mario Kart 8 in comparison to the older installments in the franchise is the most safe entry. And after playing it for so many hours on the Wii U and the Switch, I'm pretty tired of it. I think it's a fun game, and I think a lot of people can get more fun out of it than I have. In fact, I think that I can still get more fun out of it if I focus on speedrunning, doing any competitive stuff with like the community, right? But I've had enough personally. The booster course pass really isn't doing anything to change that. I'm not adverse to the idea of going back into the older portions of the series and bringing those tracks forward. That's great. And I kind of hope that they do that in general with a lot of the series that Nintendo has to offer, right? While it is an efficient move, it's not automatically a good idea. And I feel like that's very apparent here. Some of the tracks are great. Again, you have your Sky Garden and your Paris Promenade and especially your Ninja Hideaway, right? Everything past that is legitimately worrying. It's super far below the bar for like even the very beginning of Mario Kart 8. I'm worried. I'm worried, and I think they can do a lot better, and I hope they do a lot better. But if I'm not mistaken, they're already pretty far into this. I hope it doesn't go the way it feels like it's going. Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe is an amazing game, but it isn't really meant to last for about a decade. I could not have put it better myself. Yeah. They had the balls to say, we know you want Mario Kart 9, but you're gonna take 48 more courses. To be fair, they were right, but like, even though I feel like the game is very stale at this point, the tracks are great. The tracks are generally very great. Like, look at how many tracks there are in the A tier, dude. It's a solid ass game in terms of maps. I just feel like the actual like basic mechanics kind of let it down. But yeah, there you have it. Hey, what's up? It's Gig. I put considerable amount of effort into this video, so if you liked it or even just like portions of it, why not consider subscribing to my YouTube channel or following me on Twitch? I have some interesting stuff planned there. After all this time, I still really haven't figured out YouTube or Twitch, but I'm trying. So maybe stick around. Other than that, have a nice day. Yeah.